6. This is 207.
And Julia Usher is the author of Cookie Swap, a cookbook full of creative treats that you can share. She is in the 207 kitchen. She's going to share her recipe for Gingersnap Thumbprints. That is coming up next here on 207. It's always a treat when Julia Usher comes to the 207 kitchen because she makes phenomenal cookies. She's got a place in Stonington. She's the author of Cookie Swap. Thanks for coming in. Great to have you back.
Thanks for having me again. I think last I was here was August, and we were making flip-flop and bathing suit-shaped sugar cookies. So
which was good, but we're doing something a little different and appropriate for this time of year. What are you going to show us how to make today?
Well, what I'd love to do is show you a great recipe from the book that combines the best of two Christmas classics, both the Gingersnap and the Thumbprint. So it's the Gingersnap Thumbprint.
Nice. All right.
Got some over here already made.
Where do we begin? Let's get cooking.
We begin with 2 sticks of unsalted butter and half a cup of granulated sugar. I've already creamed this, and I'm just going to turn this mixer on low speed. Actually, before I do that, in this bowl I've got 2 cups of flour and loads of spices, probably the equivalent of 4 teaspoons of spice, of the classic Gingersnap spice, combination of ginger, cinnamon, and cloves.
Okay.
I like to add a little bit of zip to that and also texture by adding crystallized ginger, which I've finely minced here. It's very potent, so you do have to chop it very finely.
Amps it up.
It does amp it up. And just for those of you not familiar with crystallized ginger, it typically comes in 2 forms. You'll find it either cubed in the bulk section of the store, or often in slices, packaged in the produce section.
Okay. So,
and what I like to do is mix it into here.
The flour is in there along with the spices. Add the ginger.
Add the ginger because you do want to break it up. You don't want any chunks sticking together. And I'm just going to give that a good whisk. The flour tends to keep the ginger separate once it gets into the rest of the butter and sugar. So I'm just going to add this on low speed. Forgot a couple of items. Molasses.
Okay.
Key. Again, Gingersnap ingredient.
That would be a vital ingredient.
We don't want to lose that. I've got 2 tablespoons here, and eggs. Let me get those in before I add the dry ingredients, because it'll be a little bit
It'll all
more
come together better.
to do it otherwise. Okay, there we go. Back on track. You can also mix this in by hand, which I'm going to probably do towards the end, just because the dough gets a little bit stiff. And there you have it.
Okay, that doesn't take long.
Yeah. And that's what you've got. Looks something like this in the finished product.
Okay.
Okay. And what we're going to do next is actually shape it. We do this in a 2-step process. We'll shape and partially bake, and then we'll take the cookies out, fill them, and bake them once again.
All right.
So I think I'll move this over here, and we'll do the shaping right on top of this station here.
Sure.
I'd like to use a scoop for shaping, and I'm going to let you do some of this, just because you get a more uniform portion of dough that way.
Right.
So here you go. We'll do that, and I'll continue through the process here. I'm going to dip these in a little bit of egg white. This isn't essential, but it does help keep the nuts stuck to the outside. And the nuts are a little bit of a twist, too, on the traditional thumbprint. Usually you don't see nuts on the outside, but again, I'm a huge fan of texture.
Well, I agree. To get that little crunch is always nice.
Right. And you don't need much egg white. Just a little bit of a smear is enough to keep this intact. Most people, it's a thumbprint. You think, press with a thumb, but personally I like to press with the index finger because I think I get a better, cleaner indentation that way.
Okay.
A little more controlled.
Yep.
These would go in a 350-degree oven for about 13 to 15 minutes. I repress the indentations if they get too puffy, and then we pull them out. These have been previously baked, so that tray is not hot. You can bring it on over. These are previously partially baked.
And they look like that, which is nice.
They look like that. They're lightly browned. I haven't pre-toasted the nuts because they'll toast in the course of baking in the oven.
Okay.
We're going to fill this with something very seasonal as well, which is an apricot glaze.
Oh, nice.
This is basically an apricot jam. Pairs really wonderfully with a ginger, as would peach, I think. And into that, I'm putting in about a 1/3 cup finely chopped cranberries, again for color and texture.
Very nice.
I'll let you go ahead and stir those in, and then we'll fill these.
So these are combined?
Yeah, I combine them. I like the color. I like the addition of color because the peach jam on this light brown cookie doesn't have quite the pizzazz it does with the cranberries. Plus, the cranberries add a nice bit of tartness to this cookie.
And then we just add them in?
Yeah, we add I'd say about a ½ teaspoon of that right in the center where we've got the hole. You don't want to overfill because in the heat of the oven, we're going to pop these back in the oven to partially set the jelly.
All right, I think I probably...
If you overfill, it'll tend to overflow the cookie.
I am overfilling, but ooh, those look nice.
Yeah, but yeah. Pop back in the oven no more than 3 to 5 minutes till the nuts are even more lightly browned and the jelly is just a little bit looser and partially set, and then they're ready to go, and they look something like what we have over yonder.
Which are elegant. Now, we mentioned that the name of your book is Cookie Swap. Cookie Swap is not just a title, it's actually a whole idea.
Whole event, yes. And we're certainly headed into Cookie Swap season. The book, in addition to recipes, has great ideas for ways to make your cookie swaps over the top. By that I mean not expensive or necessarily lavish, but something that stands out from the sea of swaps that are going on at this time of year. So it's got ideas for invitations, take-home packaging, how to wrap things up in other than paper plates and plastic wrap. Also ways to document recipes and record recipes. So I've got a couple of these ideas over here, excuse me. For instance, ornaments. Simple slip of paper stuck inside a clear glass ornament. The paper has the name of the cookie on it. Put that next to the cookie at the table. It makes a really elegant touch. Over here in the center are recipe card files. So I've gotten the recipes in advance for my guests, peppered in a few extra favorites of my own, and created a little card catalog.
To make these cookies, you're going to need the recipe. To do that, go to our website, go to the 207 page, scroll down, you'll find the 207 kitchen section. There you will find the recipe for Julia Usher's. The correct name again is? For these cookies?
Oh, Gingersnap Thumbprint with cranberry apricot filling.
There you go, the recipe's there on the 207 part of our website. Julia, thank you so much.
Again.
Great to have you here. Stay with us, we're going to be back.